The world fell silent. Kim Taehyung's short film shattered an unbelievable record in just hours. Hello everyone. And welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing. Not because we chase numbers. Not because we race against the algorithm. And not because we want to be the fastest voice in the room. But because there are stories about BTS. And especially about Kim Taehyung, that were never meant to be consumed in a hurry. This story needs time, it needs space, and above all, it needs silence. There are moments in entertainment that don't arrive with explosions, no countdowns, no dramatic announcements, no headlines demanding attention. Instead, they arrive quietly, through a small piece of work that falls gently, yet shakes something far deeper than anything loud ever could. And on that day, the world fell silent because of a short film created by Kim Taehyung. This film was never introduced as a major project. There was no grand promise. No claim that it would change everything. In fact, many people clicked on it with no expectations at all. And perhaps that is exactly why its impact was so profound. When we hear the name Kim Taehyung, we are used to bright lights, massive stages, thunderous cheers, perfectly rehearsed movements, performed under blinding spotlights. But in this short film, all of that is stripped away. No stage, no audience, no effort to impress. What remains is a single human presence and the space around him. The film opens in silence. Not an empty silence, but one filled with meaning. The kind of silence that feels like a long breath after an overwhelming day. And from the very first second, the audience understands. This is not a film that will explain itself. There is no spoken narration to guide our emotions. No long dialogue telling us what to feel. Instead, Taehyung allows the images to speak. Slow movements, unfinished gazes, light slipping through narrow spaces, intentionally imperfect. Each element works together to create an emotional experience that is almost impossible to put into words. Armies who watched it felt something unusual. Not instant shock, not excitement, but a lingering stillness. One that stayed even after the video ended. Many didn't rush to comment. They paused. They breathed. And then they pressed replay. And that's when something began to happen. This film didn't explode in the usual way. It didn't go viral through noise. It spread through emotional necessity. People felt they needed to show it to someone else. Not to show off. Not to follow a trend. But simply to say, I don't know why, but this made me feel less alone. Within the first hour, the numbers began to move. Within just a few more, records were already being broken. Not just view counts, but engagement speed. For an artistic short film, with no major promotion. And behind those numbers was a far more fascinating truth. Most viewers watched it to the very end. Many of them watched it more than once. In an era of shrinking attention spans, this was rare. And the industry began to ask, what exactly is Kim Taehyung doing? The answer is simple. And that is precisely why it is so difficult to replicate. He wasn't trying to be anyone else. He wasn't trying to prove anything. He was simply being honest. The film feels like a fragment of thought, like a diary page, never meant to be published, yet somehow deeply relatable to millions. And perhaps that is its greatest strength. Many began revisiting Taehyung's artistic journey, how he has always been drawn to small things, details, subtlety, emotions that resist explanation. From his musical choices, to the way he speaks about time, to his love for visual art and photography. This short film was not a sudden turn. It was a natural continuation of someone who has been walking the same path for a very long time. Critics called it intimate. Some called it melancholic. But one word appeared again and again. Sincere. No performance. No industry pressure. Just an artist sharing the way he sees the world. And suddenly, the record made sense. Because this record was never about numbers. It was about connection. About how millions of people from different backgrounds felt the same thing without needing it explained. Armies began sharing their personal stories about loneliness, about exhaustion, about quiet phases of life that feel invisible. And this film became a mirror, not one that judges, but one that gently says, I see you. In a world that moves too fast, Kim Taehyung chose to slow down. And somehow, the world slowed down with him. When the media finally noticed the records being broken, many were shocked. Not because Taehyung succeeded, but because of how he succeeded. Without formulas, without emotional manipulation, without losing himself. And while everyone waited for his reaction, Kim Taehyung remained the same. No excessive celebration. No long explanations. He let the work stand on its own. Perhaps that is why this film will endure. Because it was never made for a moment. It was made to stay. And someday, when people look back at this point in time, they may say, this was the moment. Kim Taehyung was not only an idol, but truly an artist. Not because of records, not because of numbers, but because he dared to say, I will be honest, even when the world is loud. And for a moment, the world listened. And then it fell silent.